Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're diving into Season 2 of Steven Universe.
After an intense Season 1 finale, Season 2 picks up where it left off by figuring how to stop the cluster and a possible invasion while giving some backstory on the Gems and Rose Quartz.
Right. And it literally is where it leaves off, because if you saw the last episode of Season 1 going to episode Season 2, it literally goes back to that same scene with the awkward phone call. And it goes right back to there. I'm like, oh wow, they didn't waste any time, did
that
they?
Was perfect.
Right, it was like almost seamless if you could watch it together. And we know, like, the Season 1 definitely had, like, their standard goofy, lighthearted, fun show turns dark for the season finale, and then now you know from this point on things are going to get more serious, kind of like when with Star and Gravity Falls.
And then you have more focus on some new gems with some new voice actors.
Right.
Peridot by Shelby Rabara.
Right.
We also have Lapis Lazuli, Jennifer Paz.
Right.
And then I think it's Jasper. Who does Jasper?
Kimberly Brooks.
Oh,
again.
Yeah.
And then they had Ruby and Sapphire, and we actually know one of the voice actresses for them. I think it was Charlene Yee. You know her from Chloe on We Bare Bears.
Yes. And I was so stunned to see this. You already knew about it. I didn't. And when I saw what happened, I was like, oh, really? And it was just fascinating that is...
Right, that's Ruby and Chloe, or whichever you want to differentiate from.
That was really interesting. I didn't see that coming because I wasn't really familiar with the show. So for me, it's like an all new adventure, and I'm really seeing this for the first time and learning these characters for the first time. So it's like being a crystal gem newborn, because I really don't know anything.
Right, and then of course, like I said, we had Peridot come in, and she was kind of like left over from having in Season 1.
Right.
And this one kind of delves into more about trust and loyalty and secrets and stuff, because you get a lot of backstory with, like I said, with Rose Quartz, how she and Greg met, and what led up to, the present events. There's still more to be revealed, but you kind of get what started it when she came to Earth. Because you realize, of course, aliens like music. It seems to be the standard now. Then you had how Garnet became Garnet. And
like I said, that was fascinating.
Right, and we actually had seen the episode ahead when the people did this animation project where a bunch of different people animated one scene at a time.
But here's the thing, I didn't pay attention to any of that. All I paid attention to was the change in the animation. I was so fascinated in that I paid attention to none of the story. And since I hadn't seen it at that time, I didn't know what the heck was going on.
Right.
I just knew this was freaking cool. That all these different animation styles were being made into one episode.
Right.
And that's all I paid attention to. So I didn't see nothing.
And they had the theme of what fusion is, because they really explain it's when two gems, they do this sort of dance thing, I guess, is when, and then they combine and they become this bigger new gem. And it depends on how well they cooperate and how well the new fusion will perform, depending on how well they work together.
Jasper's scary.
Right? Jasper and Lapis was like, okay, glad we didn't see them for
Jasper's scary. I was like, man.
Like, you sure she's already a fusion? Because
that's
huge.
What I thought.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, she's not. Like, well, you made her look like one. So, and then you had, the thing with fusion was more of like a more intimate thing that goes on with gems, and for Garnet or Ruby and Sapphire, it was really something personal to them.
Well, let's mention the voice actor for Sapphire, Erica Luttrell.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, and they actually did work well together voicing the characters, because especially when they have the slight banter. They had this thing where they were the homeworld gems were trying to do force fusion. They were gems that were shattered, as they call them, is when they are just killed off, and they forced them together and kind of fused them like this Frankenstein thing, and they would come alive, but they weren't even gems or something that was natural, and this really upset Garnet. And then when they had later there was this tower that's supposed to be broadcasting signals to their home planet, and they kept destroying it, and it kept somehow being rebuilt every night, and every night they go back and destroy it, and then they would do the fusion to tear it up, and it'd be like this little showbiz gem, and they found out that one of them was actually tearing up on purpose because they liked doing the fusion too much. Everything that kind of just fell apart for several episodes at a time. This wasn't something that could have been solved in one episode. It was something that actually carried on almost to the end of the season, and then the Ruby and Sapphire were arguing, and so it just kept literally falling apart as it was going.
And the only thing they all seem to agree on is Steven. When they see it affects him, then they seem to wake up and pay attention to what's going on. Now, I also want to mention that family. I'm going to call them the Onion family, with sour cream and...
Onion.
And oh my God.
Yeah, like, no, they didn't really do that.
One of the names of the family, I thought that was hilarious.
It was something else. It was another name before an onion, and I didn't even know till you said, like, wait a minute, that's the name of an onion.
So I thought that, I had to bring it up because I thought it was hilarious. I was like, wait a minute. Did I really just hear that? I was like, oh my gosh. And so that was Vidalia. That's what you're talking about.
Right.
And I was like, this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. And then you see the head, it looks like an onion. And
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then definitely got mentioned, we actually had mentioned Peridot, and she was kind of like left behind after the events of season 1, and they were trying to find her, so she wasn't trying to send the signal and try to get more people to invade Earth, because they were kind of doing an evacuation, and it was very dangerous. And when they actually got her, when she was first there, she kind of presented herself as something who's a big as a threat as Jasper, and then when she didn't have her little attachments to make herself look bigger, and the little lasers and stuff, and she was actually like as tall as Steven, and they had captured her technically, and she locked herself in the bathroom because she didn't want to talk to them. And like, no, you can't make me talk. And like some weird interrogation, and the only one she actually was allowed to at least talk to was Steven. It was hilarious. And then when the rain came and she was terrified, she ran to him. It was like you were seeing like she wasn't as this big crazy villainous thing you thought she was at the beginning. She was just really scared, and then once Steve said, "Oh, it's just the rain," and he explained to her and stuff, and then it came to a point where she didn't trust anybody but Steven. Like I said, "Oh, we're gonna have you do that." No, only if Steven comes with me, because she got really attached to him that quickly, and I thought that was like just a really cute thing.
Yeah. So also I wanted to mention.
We did mention in our other podcast that Ian Jones Cordy had worked on here for quite a while.
You can see that he was inspired for Kale.
Right.
Definitely.
And of course Rebecca Sugar did a little bit of work as for, writing, pretty much wrote, I think, pretty much all the episodes along with other people. And had quite a few writers, a few directors, so it's impressive how a handful of people are the directors, and then everyone had an input on the writing. So there was always a variety as the show went on. So as the characters grew and they got to develop more, they had more time to expand on things, and they were coming up with very creative ideas.
Another thing two things I actually wanted to mention. One, Opal is voiced by Amy Mann, who was actually a singer in the 80s. And she was in this band called Till Tuesday. And she had this song called Voices Carry. And I was like, ah! Okay, second thing is the Uncle Grandpa episode.
Right. And we had heard about it. And we thought it was going to be terrible. Because that's considered, or probably was, depending on if the new episodes changed it, that was considered the worst episode of Steven Universe. Because Uncle Grandpa was not great, and Steven Universe was like light years ahead of it, so they were wondering why they do that. It basically was to help promote both shows, and he even said, okay, this is non-canonical, and he was supposed to be there to help Steven know how to use his little shield, which explains why he's able to use it with ease after one other episode. So if you take the episode out, then you kind of wonder, well, how is he able to do it? Well, it technically is canon if you think about it, if they have it where he uses it with ease after one episode. And it was actually hilarious. Like, they were making fun of their own show, and the gems were like out of character just for this episode. They were way more wacky. Pearl was losing her mind. I don't know what was going on with her. She was like, I'm not overreacting. You're overreacting. What's wrong with her today? and then they were stuck in like a void or something. They said, we'll never escape. This is our new home. Will you calm down? I'm not overreacting. You're overreacting. And she was the only one just like spazzing out, like having some mental breakdown. I don't know what was going on with her. She was going bonkers, and the others were just kind of like with Uncle Grimbo's powers. They were like, okay, he was like something they've never faced because he had all these magic powers and stuff, and they were like kind of confused on how to handle it.
Right.
But it was hilarious seeing them out of their element. They were just like freaking out, but Pearl was just went mad.
And it was not like we expected. You know, we had this preconceived notion and it wasn't anything like it, and it actually was an interesting episode.
Right.
Interesting concept.
Right. So, if you have seen season 2 of Steven Universe, you definitely want to give away the ending because it definitely leads up to something big for season 3.
Right.
Please let us know what you thought of the season in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you later on in the form of